Yo, what is up guys? My name is TylaDubya if you are new here, and today I'm going to be teaching you all the Outward Sub Bass Snare, or better known as the Two.H Snare.
TylaDubya Beatbox channel.
Now, unless you have been living under a rock, I guarantee at one point or another you have heard somebody do the Outward Sub Bass Snare. And that is because the Two.H Snare has skyrocketed in popularity throughout the entire beatboxing community. Now, technically the sound is called the Outward Sub Bass Snare because it really does hit hard on the subwoofer. However, it is more commonly known as the Two.H Snare because he has popularized it. And he did this back at the Grand Beatbox Battle 2017 where he absolutely killed it. He is such a monster. So if you guys haven't seen those videos yet, go make sure you check it out because that is kind of like the origin of the popularity for the snare. And yeah, it was basically after that set of battles that everyone was like, holy crap, there is a snare that hits extremely hard on the subwoofer, which is kind of unheard of, which is why I'm pretty sure this sound has become so popular. Like if you get on stage and you go like you're knocking on a door, they're gonna feel that rumble right in their chest and they're gonna roar. That was not lame at all and you know it. Now, although this sound is extremely powerful on mic, acoustically it's not gonna be as powerful. It's gonna be a little more silent. It's gonna sound a little weird because it doesn't really have a subwoofer to be amplified off of. Doesn't mean you can't do it though. Now, honestly, I do not believe this sound is going to be too hard for you guys to get because it really is just a combination of two different sounds. And those sounds are the Outward Sub Bass or the Patch Bass and the Outward K Snare. Now, before I start teaching this sound, what I want you guys to do real quick is to comment down below which beatboxer you feel does this sound the best. Now, a few notable beatboxers that I know that do this sound include Zeka, Wing, Collabs, Shogo, and so many more. So make sure you let me know down below which beatboxer you feel does it the best, whether it is a known beatboxer or not a known beatboxer. Put them there. I'm so curious to read them. And also, if you're feeling like a generous person today, go ahead and click that like button because it gives me a nice gauge of what kind of content you guys like, and hit that subscribe button if you aren't already because I put out beatboxing content all the time. And I guess you guys should probably click that notification bell too because, you know, I guess that kind of helps to let you guys know when I release stuff. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the steps that you guys are going to need to do and learn to get the sound. And in the typical TylaDubya fashion, I broke this sound down into 3 simple, easy, beautiful steps for you guys to get it. And that first step is going to be doing the Outward Sub Bass, or better known as the Patch Bass. Here's a little demo for those of you who are unfamiliar with what the Outward Sub Bass or Patch Bass sounds like. Alright, so that was a little exaggerated, showing you guys how much air, you know, it requires to do this sound. So let me give you a few more smaller examples just to kind of drive home the point. So yeah, that may not sound like a lot acoustically or through the video right now, but I promise you guys, on mic, on stage, that will hit the subwoofer hard and you will feel it in your chest. Now, if you don't know this sound yet, do not be worried. I have a whole tutorial for it. I actually released it not that long ago, so if you don't know it yet or you want to practice and perfect it, head over to my tutorial. I'll have a link down below, card popping up right here. Learn it and then come back to this video. Because, you know, why teach the sound again through this video when I have a whole video dedicated to it, giving you guys practice beats, breaking it down to the steps necessary to learn it? Doesn't make sense. So go there, learn it, and then come back because you'll be a boss. And if you already know it, that's one less thing you have to learn. You're one step closer to getting that Two.H Snare. So now that you guys know the Outward Sub Bass or the Patch Bass, let's go ahead and move on to the next step. And step number 2 is going to be doing the Outward K Snare. And this wonderful little snare sounds a little bit like... Now that is what my Outward K Snare sounds like, and I know it's not the best, it's not the cleanest, but I did want to demonstrate for you guys what the sound should sound like. And just like the Patch Bass or the Outward Sub Bass, if you guys don't know the sound yet, do not worry. I have a full dedicated tutorial breaking the sound down and giving you guys practice beats so you can perfect it. Check out the link down below or one of the cards up here if you don't know it yet, and then come back here. You know, it's like I planned these tutorials out or something so I can just reference the sounds, you know, if we're building on top of each other, you know, it's like I'm thinking about it or something. Building blocks, mother trucker. And again, if you already know the Outward K Snare, you're one step ahead of the game, and that is one less thing that you have to learn. And now that you guys know the Outward K Snare, let's go ahead and move on to that third and final step. And I'm sure, as you guys have guessed, this third and final step is going to be comboing these two sounds together. So we're going to take that Outward Sub Bass and that Outward K Snare and then combo them together. Now, in order to properly combo these two sounds together, you're first going to want to take that mouth positioning from the Outward Sub Bass. And then you're going to want to do a nice, powerful K Snare while maintaining that mouth positioning. Now, what's going to happen here is when you do that Outward K Snare, all that air that naturally comes out from that sound is going to travel through that mouth positioning, creating a nice, punchy burst of the Outward Sub Bass. And the key here is to keep this burst of air nice and short so it creates a nice, clean, and crisp sound. Because that's kind of what makes a Two.H Snare what it is. It's a clean, crisp, punchy burst of air that hits that subwoofer hard. That doesn't mean you can't extend it out a little bit though. You can hit that 2H snare, let it trail out a little bit on the outward sub bass. You know, you can do whatever you want, experiment with it. I guess let me give you a little demonstration of what I mean with all this. So first, take that outward sub bass mouth positioning. And second, do a K snare behind that with that mouth positioning. I hope after hearing that you guys understand what I mean by keeping that burst of air very short so you have a nice, clean, and crisp sound. But I guess to demonstrate what I mean by trailing that outward sub bass a little bit, here you go. You hit the 2H snare, you trail it out a little bit, keep that bass rolling. I guess one more final note here that I may have forgot to mention is that the outward K snare actually will provide all the air that you're going to need to actually do this sound. So don't worry about trying to force any extra air out when doing it. Just do a nice outward K snare. You know, you can experiment with the amount of air that comes out, but that's all the air you're gonna need. Nothing trailing, nothing before. K snare, power, 2H snare, boom. So that wraps up the 3 steps I have to learning the 2H snare. I hope you guys have it by now, but if you do not be discouraged. Walk back through the steps, and I promise with enough practice you guys will eventually get it. But for those of you who do have it, let's go ahead and move on to some practice beats so you can perfect it. Now I hope you guys are as excited as I am because I got some really good practice beats lined up for y'all. Now when doing these practice beats, it's gonna help if you have your own metronome to follow along with, whether it's a vibration based one, whether it's a click track, you know, it helps if you have it. If you don't worry, I'll have one playing when I do these beats. Now the first beat we're gonna do is gonna be at 120 BPM, so go ahead and set that now. And it's gonna be the easiest one too, because you know, we gotta get warmed up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, I know, that was a little bit easy, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one, and this one is going to be at 140 BPM. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're vamping up a little bit, but for this one, we're gonna go a little bit harder. Same tempo, 140, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, spitting hot fire. Okay, so we're gonna take that one and level it up just a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that wraps up all the practice beats I have for this sound. I hope you guys have perfected it by now. If you haven't, don't worry. Just go get your metronome and practice these beats over and over again until you get it, and then just freestyle with it because it's a lot of fun. That is the best way to start working it into your routines. But overall, I hope this video helped you guys both learn the sound and perfect it. If it didn't, or if you have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comment section below, and I will try to answer all of them and help you guys get the sound. And if you haven't yet, make sure you guys comment down below which beatboxer you feel uses the sound the best or does it in the most unique way, or who's just the best with it overall, whether known or unknown. Put them down there, I'm excited to read them. And if you know any beatboxers struggling to learn this snare, go ahead and share this video with them, because you know sharing is caring and everyone needs to know how to do a powerful sub bass snare on stage. So yeah, that wraps up everything I got for you guys today. I just want to take one more moment to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me. I know that your time is very precious, so it does mean a lot that you guys are watching this video, especially all the way to the end if you're still watching. But I just want to make sure that you guys have a fantastic day, and sever the strings from the puppet to cut them down.
Now I'm